Hi Ashok,
Hi, Saurabh.
how are you?
Yeah, fine. And how things over there?
Good, all good. So thank you so much for joining me today evening, and I'm really excited to see your pictures. You are one of the photographers I really admire your work and really look up to you because of your work. And thank you so much for joining us once again. And maybe I'll just give a quick introduction about you before after that you can start with.
Sure.
So your birth is in your native is Karaikudi. That is one of my most favorite place in the whole world. It's such a beautiful
Oh,
village.
you've been to there?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
So
Chettinad Palace and then
yeah.
few
So
houses and all.
actually, so I was working in Chennai for 6 years. So that is when I had a friend who had a wedding there. So it was so amazing. And even before that, also I traveled to that place. So yeah. So Ashok belongs to that place, and he's a visual designer by profession, and of course he's a photographer by passion. And so he travels. Tries to travel to a lot of places and take pictures, and he takes soulful portraits. So when you see his portraits, you really feel that he looks into the soul of the person and take pictures. And yeah, so that is about Ashok. And and yeah, he started quite early, and he used to go for a lot of these local groups in Chennai, like Chennai Weekend Clickers, CWC as it is known as. So so it has the photography has become a part and parcel of his life right now. So he keeps documenting ordinary life. So I really love his pictures, which might not have something very special, but still looks so amazing. That moment, the way he captures is just amazing. So I'm really looking forward to this session. So I welcome you, Ashok, once again, and thank you so much for joining us. And please tell us a little bit about your life journey as a photographer so far.
Okay. Thank you, Saurabh. And thanks for this wonderful platform and then the opportunity also. So, since the lockdown, I feel how you feel very bad about without taking the camera out and all.
Yeah,
So because you are a very avid traveler and all, right?
right,
So,
right.
you're a full-time traveler, photographer now.
Yeah.
So, mine is more like whenever possible, I go out and shoot. And we plan few travels, more of 3 or 4 big travels in a year, and then few weekend travels kind of thing.
Mm.
Maybe within a weekend, we can cover a Tamil Nadu, Kerala kind of thing, to travel and all.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
that's how. So how you
So
are?
please tell us, yeah, please tell us a little bit about how you started how what kind of photography that you have been doing over the years so far.
Okay. I've been with photography for past 15 years, let's say that, and being little bit of serious into photography by from 2006 and 7 only. Those Flickr days and all, we
Okay.
started yearly through Flickrs. Then
Right, right.
that's how it started. But before that, being a graphic designer, so we used to refer a lot of images in our for our design career also. So that
Mm-hmm.
itself is a mix of both. So we have to go through the images, then we do the layouts and then everything. So that's how it all started. So that is, I stayed in a PG in Chennai only. So there is a place
Mm.
called Triplicane. So
Mm.
Tiruvallikeni in Tamil Nadu.
Right,
So
right.
there is a huge resale market for the bookshops and all. So we stumble upon there for a reference for to collect design references and all. There we
Okay.
saw, that's how I started with a Nat Geo. Accidentally saw some Nat Geo images of books and all, old books and all. So then I start collecting that. That's how this all started by 99 2000 period and all. So then it all started from that. Then the company I worked with, there is a more like a design studio kind of thing. There they bought a first DSLR, Nikon D100. That is the very first early DSLR. That is our first commercial DSLR. So
Yeah, I think that was in 2002 or
2 3
2003.
two
Yeah.
three period.
Mm.
So there it all started because of I'm the design in charge of that studio. So
Mm.
that is in my control only. That camera is in my control only. So that time there is no raw format at all. Only TIFF and JPEG. We doesn't know nothing. Just
Mm.
shutter, and we put in everything in auto mode. So we
Right.
do all the random stuffs here and there, and then we take the camera out for. So that time itself is more than lakh and above that cost itself, lakh and 30,000 something that itself. So we do all the random stuffs with that, and that all it started. Then after 2006 and 7, I shifted to Bangalore. Then I uh, met some. There is a group called Bangalore Weekend Shoots. There are Venkatesh and PV. So those guys, Muralidharan Alagar, those guys are there.
Right.
Then I hooked
Right.
up them. It all take off from there. That is how it all started. Then I returned back to Chennai after 2010. So now I am in Chennai only. That's it.
Great. Great. So I can't wait to go through your pictures, and we'll be going through your pictures, and in between I'll ask you some questions related to your pictures and otherwise. Okay. So shall we get started?
Sure.
Great. So yeah, please tell us a little bit about where you got this picture and how you got this.
Okay. This one is from Jodhpur. So during 2013, I guess, 2013 Pushkar and Rajasthan travel, we covered that. So this I shot from Jodhpur. So I saw Jodhpur lanes are very narrow. Maybe that's less than a 10 feet kind of thing. So only an maximum you have two-wheeler or an auto can go. So that is the maximum width of the lanes and all. So it's very narrow lanes and everywhere. So we just covered the Brahmapuri area, and then we just roaming around the streets of Jodhpur. There I found a shadow of a building. It looked like a skull of a male or a face portraiture kind of a thing, or as a profile of a male kind. So I was waited for I was just a pre-visualize something. Okay, so this is an adult. So if there is a contrast or a juxta of opposite to that comes means that will be it will be a nice picture and all. So I waited for a few times, maybe a small kid or a girl or a woman. So that is the maximum probability I can guess for that. Then I waited for some 20 minutes in that same place. There is small place that is something similar to this slit kind of thing. So I was hidden myself and waited, and then I saw the lady is coming from the far end of the street. So then I waited. So that time she doesn't wear that veil and all. So she's normal. So surprisingly, she saw some stranger is with holding a camera kind of thing. She automatically use her hand. So that profile perfectly matched with that hand posture, and then the perfect of the portraiture of the same profile, everything matched sync with that. So I still believe she was in just before this placement, that will be a much better. So still I feel so that maybe I make a better picture, but it's okay. So
yeah,
this is
still a very nice picture. I
that's how that is a story behind this.
Very nice, very nice. Wow, beautiful.
This from Somnathpur.
Okay.
Karnataka.
Yeah, beautiful place. Yeah,
amazing architecture.
Not many people go there, but it's a very beautiful place.
Yeah. So that is one amazing thing actually. It's not a. I think Belur. This is Belur. I think both Belur, Halibut, and Somnathpur are similar architectures.
Right.
So this is. So it was a rainy day. So very few people are within that compound, temple complex.
Mm-hmm.
So we are almost done with the 2 or 3 rounds of the peripheral architecture, peripheral sculptures. We covered everything, and we just sat at the entrance of the temple. So it was rain. Just after the rain, that woman was fully drenched, and she said, "Just enter into the temple." So the entire structure, the full gray color, and then she's in white, and then that rain, so that moisture, everything builds the story, I guess. So she's just like a goddess enter into the temple kind of thing to me.
Oh, beautiful.
That is
right. So in a picture like this, so like you said in the previous picture, you were waiting for some time for a subject to come. So here also, were you waiting, or you just saw and it was very spontaneous?
So actually, we went in a group only. We are waited in the first level corridor. So the entrance, there is some few steps and all there. Just opposite to that, perfectly opposite to that this entrance. So we just sat, and then we saw that. So she's going into the temple and all. So I clicked it. So
okay.
So that's it happened.
Great. So what gear do you use, Ashok?
I'm in my entire career I show because the time I started by 2002 and all. I heard about the only camera, it's Nikon. So then I started with everything with Nikon only. Currently I'm using a Z7, the mirrorless. Last year I shifted to mirrorless.
Okay.
Currently I'm using a Z7 and few mirrorless kits and all.
Great. So how do you, before Z7, what camera were you using?
So I started with my own camera. I started with a D40, then a D300. then D810, then now Z7.
Okay, so from D810 to Z7, so what difference do you feel in the image quality or maybe the way you hold the camera? So what difference do you feel in these two bodies?
Uh, I don't feel much because I always feel like little solid. I need something, some gear to be in solid, and then little more weight. That is because you are from D700 to D810 itself is a little weightless actually. So, but that shift itself is it looks like very small. The mirrorless is now is very small and all. So it's so initial adoption is a little because it's everything is electronic viewfinder. So still I'm using a viewfinder concept only, electronic viewfinder. I'm using that. I'm never use a rear mirror screen and all. Very rarely I use the rear screen and all. So much now I don't feel much better. The dynamic range is much better there because each camera is giving the amount of dynamic range they are giving. It's really very tremendous. So previously I used to do shot in 1600 or maximum it's 3000. Now it's I push myself to 5000 or 6000 ISO and all few places, few times and all. So dynamic range is good. So particularly rest everything because raw format we shoot everything raw. Then we do process and all. So color and all it's okay. But this Z7 is slightly better than a D8 in my point perspective in color because that are close to the true color kind of thing.
Okay. Do you miss your D810 anytime,
Sure.
or you think this is better?
Sure. I miss a D8. So, but we have to because that's now it's a future is mirrorless now. Everyone is moving to mirrorless.
Right.
So if we want to continue in photography means we need to adapt the technology also.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
that is so I try to switch it little earlier also.
Right. Okay. So did you have any formal training in photography, Ashok?
No, the day I started, I know just two words, shutter, and even I doesn't know about the words about what is aperture at all. So through Better Photography, that is the only magazine that time, Smart Photography or Better Photography, we used to browse the images and their settings and all, we used to read the settings, right? That exit settings and all. So one bar something, what is that something, what is that and all, and what is that F value? So everything is Greek and Latin to me there.
Right.
Then I once I bought the camera means I'm literally living with that. So that I slowly learning few things and all. So that's how it's all started.
Great. So who are the photographers who have influenced you most and how?
Okay, that is a big, huge list actually.
Okay.
So I like everyone because I start through Nat Geo means so Steamaker is the first one. I stumbled upon Steamaker. Then after we entered into photography and all, then we have Bresson, Sebastian Salgado, Joseph Kodulka, then James Natchway. That's a huge list and all. Even I got inspired from everyone, but not just from masters alone. I got inspired from my co-travelers who are all traveling with me because they teach me much better than anyone because we both travel in the same time, both almost took a same frame, and we know who is better and all. So we know many times their picture is much better than us. So we'll learn from them. So that's how it. I used to because the internet is a major source.
Right. So that was a question I was coming to. So you said you took some very inspiring names like Steve McCurry and Sebastião Salgado. So what is the source of knowledge? So do you buy books or do you read from the internet or do you refer to YouTube? So what is your source of knowledge?
Now, previously I follow blogs of each artist or wherever possible through internet only. Last few years I start collecting the books also. So I have some bunch of some 20 to 25 books, photo books now.
Awesome.
So I start investing on because that is a kind of investment only.
Absolutely, I fully agree.
So even today I ordered some Brazon's few books and all.
Okay, awesome.
So to kill that lockdown period, we need to some new inspirations kind of thing.
Right.
That's how it is going on.
Right. Great. This is one of my favorite picture of yours. Very beautiful.
This is from Marina Beach only. So Ganesh Visaran. So that happening Ganesh dissolving thing, right? So that's happening in every year in Chennai.
Right.
So that is almost set in a monsoon, close to the monsoon period. So every year there is a rain on the day or before the day, and then the cloud and that everything sets the drama and all. We just go and we tried whatever angle means sure we'll get some images, beautiful images. So that's how few places it's automatically fit that actually. So we don't want to try something new. It's almost everything is there. We just go and so look and see the image frames, but that's enough. So this is a regular setup. Whenever you go to that period, this is a typical setup. The guys are doing this and all. They'll put their hands in that and then do all these waving things and all. So
Okay.
similarly, this guy is doing one of my co-photographers, Sudarshan. He's commanding him to maybe he directing him for a better frames and all. So
Okay.
surprisingly, his fingers into that my frame. So I thought,
Okay.
okay, that indication is easy with the viewers to pointing towards the main subject.
Right. Right. It's
And
beautiful.
surprisingly, this element, this guy's added much drama. It's like someone is dropping at a person, and then the huge scaling between that foreground element and that background element, that everything creates that drama.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
This is from Marina,
Absolutely.
Chennai Beach, Chennai Marina only.
Absolutely beautiful. So you said you also go out of Chennai sometimes to different places and take pictures.
Yeah, we
So
used
when you go to a new place, what kind of preparation do you do when you go for a trip like that?
whenever we start a trip or planning for a trip means we used to refer some images, but that is for a early preparation. But rest everything is on the spot only. Many time luck prefers us to get a better pictures and all. Because I, being a South Indian, being a Tamilian, I never know Hindi and all. They are not in a single word. Few words. Either they care. So very few words. I can
Mm,
manage
mm,
to
mm.
get them to point through my lens. So that is a language I know currently now. So through that I can travel the most of the part of the India and all.
Okay.
So we
So
learn few words how to ask them to smile and all. So those is enough because we are doing something we pronounce in a wrong method, so they will automatically laugh to us. So that create a
yes,
connect with them.
yes,
That is
yes,
the
yes.
techniques actually.
Right, right, right. So you think language is not really a barrier, even if you go to a place where you cannot speak the language. Maybe just having a few words, knowing a few words really helps. That's what you are
So
saying,
it
right?
depends actually. If you know the language means that is much better to
Yeah,
communicate with them.
yeah. But
But
knowing a
another
few
thing,
words, yeah,
yeah,
always.
maybe a better language, but India is another problem is we have each state maybe even it is Andhra. It's a two type of Telugus.
Yeah,
Hyderabad it's entirely different one.
true,
So
true, true.
that is
Absolutely,
we can't learn everything from. So that is
absolutely,
practical difficulty actually.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
So another thing, without knowing a language means we always keen about the frames and all because we can't commanding them to do the same thing because
true,
we
true.
can't ask them to
Mhm.
we can't choreograph the frame and all because we
Right.
never know how to communicate and all. So we
Right.
always look for a better picture, always look for a moment to capture and all that decisive moment.
Mm,
So that is a plus point of without knowing a language and all. If it know the languages, we command them to do this, that, and all, do all the gimmicks and all. So without knowing the language, that is much better actually.
right. So I use the same approach when I was in Chennai. So I learnt a few Tamil words, and when I was going out in the villages, I mean, I could at least communicate whatever I wanted to. So that really helped a lot. So that's a
Yeah.
very nice tip that you gave. Oh, beautiful. Very different shot of the Taj Mahal compared to the stereotypical ones.
Yeah,
Very
that
nice.
is whenever we plan for a Taj means that. So this always in my mind. So with Taj, we cannot get our own pictures. So because that is the place from each every 360 degree, everyone took more than crores of pictures and all, millions of pictures already taken. So that is one challenge. So this is of 2013 November, I guess, 13 or 14 November. So it's fully covered. So what we planned was we landed Agra by Friday. So Friday Taj is closed. So every Friday there is so maybe for maintenance some other reason. So we first day we visit the Metaba Garden and all the other gullies near that. That is a beautiful place for portraits and all. So we cover all the then the that there is one railway bridge and all. So we covered all those things in the for day one. Then day two morning we entered into this. We didn't see the Taj until we reached that just closed that because that thick fog and all. We didn't see anything. So after that we don't know how to compose and all because it's Taj is just close to us. Even in a wide angle we can't compose a Taj in that way. It's look like everything is distorted. So then we are hunting the place around, and then I saw there is a group of people working on a small pond-like structure. So they are renovating those things. They remove the
Ah,
marbles and then they're renovating these things. So through the same Hindi language, I asked them to. I literally begged them. I want a picture because I want to show them. So I named it as a making of Taj kind of thing. So someone is sculpting a
Beautiful.
Taj.
Beautiful.
So that is a huge monument. So I want to place something that is in a behind him. So I want to place him in a front, and then that way. So I will just he gave just two or few clicks only. I just tried that.
Hmm.
So got with a lower perspective. So from the ground level to his, then the action, then the Taj and all. So that's how
Very
I
nice.
composed it.
Very nice. Beautiful.
This from Gangakanta Cholapuram. So there is
Oh,
a place
yeah. Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
That's a
Absolutely
huge temple,
beautiful place. Absolutely
beautiful place,
beautiful
but
place.
very less when compared to Tanjavur. This is a very less
Yes.
crowded place and also.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But similar structure, because that from a son of that Tanjavur king only,
Yes.
Rajaraja
Yes.
Cholan, son Rajendra Cholan built this and all.
Right. Right. Beautiful place.
So this is everything set up. I didn't do anything. Just a click, that
Mm.
stone, and then evening light. So
Right.
everything make a drama of this. This is one of the beautiful architecture of the sculpture, and so huge thing
Right.
of this.
Right.
So
So,
this,
so please tell us a little bit about your workflow. So, once you come back from a trip, how do you store your pictures? How do you organize them?
okay,
And maybe a little bit about how much of post processing do you do to your pictures?
okay. So sir, like I never. So what I do is I click lot of images actually. When compared to my co-travelers, when compared to everyone,
Mm.
whenever wherever possible, I move two step, then I click another composition. So I click a single picture with what I call it is a work for a picture and all. So I take multiple images and all with the multiple directions. So then I evaluate the picture, then I cull the picture, then I upload, process it and upload it. That is my process and all. So I take almost, so my cull process is like 1 to 2% only I'll upload.
Okay,
So
so you will upload only 2%. So,
2%.
what about the rest of the pictures? What are you going to do?
I keep having the pictures in my hard disk and all.
Okay,
So what I
so
do is I process 10% of my images. Then
okay,
from that I cull, and then I upload only 2% of the pictures. So
okay,
these days
so
slowly I push into close to 3%.
okay. So, what about the rest, the 90% of the pictures? What do you do with them? They are still there with you.
They are still there, because the thing is many times I later when we open the same folder again and again,
Hmm.
we know the process behind what we thought, what the thought process that time and all. Because many times we used to uh, we got inspired from few master's pictures, then we try to recreate in our whenever we traveled and all. So that is the first level pictures, and most of the time we used to upload that pictures first when we return to the trip. So we thought our mind saying, okay, I got a beautiful picture that is very
Right,
similar to the masters and all.
right.
So we upload that first, then slowly or later the second level iterations, we found, okay, this is my own composition kind of thing. So that's the second level. Then the third level. So it's even the lockdown and all. I do used to visit all my folders and all. 2012, 11 kind of folders, and then few images I do. Okay, I missed few because I processed a few images, but I didn't upload it that time and all. So then I reprocess and upload it. So that's.
Okay,
But I never delete my unless until it's an shaky or other technically wrong pictures I delete it. Rest and all,
okay,
it's I keep it in my order.
okay. So, what software do you use, Ashok?
So I used Photoshop only, Photoshop, and then I used to rating my images through Bridge, Adobe Bridge and all.
Okay, okay,
Adobe Bridge and Photoshop. That is the only two things I use.
okay, okay. Great. Beautiful.
This is one most important day in my life. It is from Chilika Lake, Odisha.
Okay,
So we plan to cross that actually, cross the lake, because there is a huge lake. This is some huge miles and kilometers of square kilometers.
yes, yes. Beautiful. Yeah.
So we went late actually. So almost it's close to the lunchtime. So they're saying it's very difficult to return back on the same day and all. So and then on the crossing there is a few islands over there also. So staying there itself is a very tough, because we had to get permission from Puri and all. So few government bungalows are there only. So it's more like a PWD bungalows kind of thing only there. So we waited in the shore and all. So that suddenly that's a huge storm. It's a huge storm, means that's unimaginable. I never felt a storm in the lake and all, because we used to do Chennai storms and all, which that is a common because it's sea is there, sea coast is there. But in the lake, it's a mind blowing one. Literally, we got little tensed because we stuck up in a small watchtower kind of thing. Then we called our cab driver. Then he came back. Then he rescued us actually. So that is the part of that story and all. So this is the first part of this, almost the first part of the storm. That storm is in that end. Later, it fully covered that entire city and all, that entire place and all. And one of the most memorable day in the life.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, the sky looks so dramatic, absolutely wonderful.
So I recently, the day before yesterday, I posted the 3 sets of within a 20-30 minutes, the entire scene is changed actually.
Wow, beautiful. Wow, beautiful frame.
This one from Somnathpur.
Mm-hmm.
From Somnathpur.
Beautiful.
So this is actually the Somnathpur and both Velur Halibedu. That is architectural marvelous actually. So within a small, maybe a small few 6 inches, they have beautiful sculptures and all. So the same one. First we do hunt the inner peripheral, then outer peripheral, then the mandapa and all. So I do the same everywhere, wherever we go, because after that multiple exposure, I started multiple exposure. I do all the 360-degree every time and all. So just while hunting that, so I found this is something a different one. This is only because of the wide angle I can get this. So if it is a normal, even a 24 mm, it's very tough to cover this and all. So I went a little wide for 17 mm, I guess, for this. So I get the entire corridor of left and right, and then I was waited for a very long time for without the people. I want to shot something without the people, but it's highly unimaginable one. So people are keep coming and all.
Right, right.
So I try to make them, so wherever possible, in the both end they will. So I was waited sometime because I was literally stuck in the wall of that, and then I would then frame this because I can't go through in my viewfinder and all. So I want to put the camera down and then take some few blind shots. Kind of.
Right. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow,
okay.
Very nice.
From Kerala. So again, the same similar shots. I stuck up in the compound wall, and then so this is I saw the Kerala is place for forest and there is a green everywhere. So there when we cross something that we saw actually we drove in the same road. We saw this lorry and all. So it's look painted in a beautiful way. So then we stopped the car in the side somewhere, and then we walked back down. I saw the forest, almost the deforestation is happening and all. So they cut the blocks and then they're packing things and all. So through this flower's point of view, I want to take this image. So a flower is looking through the deforestation kind of thing. So due to the place and then because it's the leaf and flower is in that almost close to that compound wall. So I went behind that and then framed in such a way through his point of view, through her point of view, the flower's point of view, the deforestation. So how it is happening and all. So that is the, and then there's the cloud and everything. That's a Kerala climate and everything. It's added that drama to this.
Definitely. So Ashok, please tell us a little bit about how you decide whether to have a picture in color or in black and white.
Yes, that is the biggest hunting happening everywhere in my mind. So recently, previously I used to do process in both color and black and white. Then I get compared. Then I got confused. Then I decide on okay, most of them 51% black and white and 49% I stick with the color. So that is the ratio. Then I slowly started processing something like okay, for a few months I'll do only color processing. Maybe for next 100 images I'll do color. Next 100 images I do black and white kind of thing. So I'll choose the image in that way. Okay, this will fit in color. This will fit in black and white kind of thing.
So yeah, so how do you choose? Okay, this will make a very good black and white, or this will make a very good color. How do you if you can give us some pointers, that will be very helpful.
Okay, so portraits in both ways look beautiful. It's a beautiful in color or black and white. So if it is many times I for portraits and all, what I prefer is because I do equally both in color and black and white equally. So that is a kind of a decisive moment of our mind change only. So many times I processed it, then I put it for some times, then I Then I'll visit back. Then sometimes I check with my wife and also which is better and all. She will suggest something. Sometimes I post that. Sometimes I post opposite what she is saying and all. So that is the good argument that's happening and all. So, but most of the time, for again, if it is the time we took and all, click and all, we feel okay, this is impactful. So I prefer black and white for impactful images. I prefer a beautiful image, or I prefer something soulful or a happy image in color. So that way I choose myself to fit myself to choose between color and black and white.
Okay. So if you can take us through how you process your black and white images. So you already told you use Photoshop. So what kind of processing would you do to a picture like this?
So 99% it's everything done in camera raw only.
Okay. Okay.
So if it is a color means I will come back to Photoshop, but black and white it's fully in camera raw.
Okay.
For color means I will come back for maybe some selective coloring adjustments kind of thing. I will come back, or sometimes I process in lab color processing. So that, because that is not available in camera raw currently, camera raw or Lightroom currently. So
Okay.
for profile change, I will need to come back to Photoshop. For lab process and all, few images I did in lab colors and all. So that is the process. But 90 recently, but because the camera raw tools is much versatile these days, they are improving a lot into that. And when compared to the 2007 and all, now it's, we don't want to go to Photoshop and all. So Lightroom is enough. Camera raw plugin is enough now.
Right. Right.
So that is how it's happening.
Okay. So beautiful.
So this I shot from the very remote village of South. It's a small, very small village. There is a brick line. So there is a group of people. They settled from West Bengal. So they are doing migrant workers within that brick line. So there I saw this woman. First I shot. Most of the time I used to avoid that age group of the middle-aged women and all, because unless we know them personally, we don't want to shoot them and we don't want to get into trouble and all. So being a stranger, she's not with someone may not comfortable. So I shot this little kid with a few images and all. Then I showed to her mother. Even she itself, I don't think she's much. Maybe she's in her early 20s kind of thing only. So I show the picture of her daughter and all. Then I request her I want to take some portrait of her. So this is totally a candid. I shot some 3-4 images. The blush and everything. It's so they have that some. I show the image to their mother. Then she instructed her kid to watch the camera. Then the kid got shy, and then she turned back. So that is the drama happened over here.
Right. Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
that is the one. I shot some 2-3 images of this.
Okay.
But being very, so this is very personally close to me. So I do another few shots in the next few shots in color. So I posted both in color and black and white on this.
Okay. Yeah. So please tell us a little bit. I'm really fascinated by your double exposure pictures. So please tell us a little bit about how you started doing these things and what is the process.
Okay. Then we need to, so 2000, we need to go back to the 2008 period. One of my friends, 8 or 9 somewhere, one of my friends shared a picture of an Eiffel Tower. It's more like so that is an argument happening between us. So he sent me an image. It's looked like an Eiffel Tower, but it all distorted. So it looked like some 100 images stacked on an Eiffel Tower kind of image. So we both discussed how it can be possible and all. So that time I just started slightly into the photography and all. So I strongly said, because this is only possible in Photoshop and all. So they maybe stack all the images and do all the blendings and all. Then later we browsed through the images and all. It was shot in a film. What they did was they shot in a film, then they reload the same film, then they shot from the multiple places of the Paris. They shot the Eiffel Tower. So then when I read about that, it totally struck my mind actually. Okay, there is something we need to explore, we need to learn and all. Then when I after my D700 and all, even I learned that D300 have some, but I didn't notice that what is the purpose of this multiple exposure and all. And D700 it has some 2 shots multiple exposure. So then I start trying experimenting with my kid and wife and my so the rest. Then it all started from 2011-12 period and all. Then I keep experimenting with the how to compose without doing another shot and all.
Okay. So, who are the photographers who have been your inspiration in this kind of photography? If you can
So
take
this
some.
is totally new actually. So I
Okay.
saw a few images and recently we saw a few images in Instagram and all. That time Flickr, it's totally new actually. I
Okay.
maybe maybe some many were trying with a very various period and all, but I
Right.
didn't stumble upon that for that and this and all because this is purely and accidentally I found something while in experimenting I do something and then I found something like this. Then I start experimenting again and again. Then slowly after my D8 and I found okay there is a 10 shot possibility in that. Then it all happened. Then then I try some single images, maybe a human in 10 shot means it looked too it's a little more like a ghosty feel and all.
Hmm.
And I try to avoid taking human in 10 shots and all.
Okay.
And then it's so wherever possible there is a temple is the easiest way, or anything geometrically perfect or anything circularly perfect that fits in that format and all. So then the sandwich I call it as a sandwich method because we keep sandwiching images one by one over by over and all. So that again that took some 2 years to experimenting things and all, where to keep the pivot point, how to move and all, so how to keep the distance. So many other things I learned from myself.
Okay. So, you learned mostly by experimenting and
Yeah,
doing things yourself.
yeah.
Okay.
This multiple
Amazing.
exposure is my by accidentally actually I call it that.
Amazing. Amazing. Very nice.
This from Khajuraho. So last year we been to Khajuraho and then Kumbh Mela. So we
Okay.
visit first Khajuraho.
Hmm.
So Khajuraho is at by visiting before visiting the place I dreamt okay that is a huge it's kind of a city kind of thing or some other different type of places and all. But after landing over there is a huge complex. It's a huge many temples are there. Rest and all it's a few temples. It's located in a different places and all. It's a bunch of temples actually. So this is another. It's not from the bunch. There is a normal single temple. So it's the back of the temple compound and all. It's all bullocks or so it's more like a village. There is a village. Then there's a compound. So that is the setup and all. They do all the dung, thing, all the whatever things happening that the wall temple walls. They do all these things. They hang hang the cloths and all, wet cloths and all, everything happening in that the other side of the temple only. So I saw these people are carrying the cow dung things and all.
Right.
What we
Right.
call the cow dung, wet cow dung thing and all. So
Right.
that one. So I saw that girl and then so I asked them to stop and then I clicked this. Then I took some, then I helped them to keep them down and then I took some few portraits of this particular lady and all. Then I
Okay.
shot some few shots of this. The tree, it looked like, so it shows the period of the Khajuraho and all. It's a
Right.
long standing tree. Then the both this the hard workers kind of thing.
Right.
So
Right.
that way I composed this. Actually, they waited for this. I don't know because it's a January end and all. So that's slightly it's a summer kind of thing only.
Right.
The
Right.
humidity was huge. So they waited for the shadow and all. So then
Okay.
I picked it, I clicked something. Then I helped them to bring them down, get this thing down, and then we had a small chat with a. Then it's all happened.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Okay,
Wow. This is
this
again
again.
very, very surreal.
Yeah. So used to shot the multiple exposure in a circular way. So I used to visit that. So keep the Vimana in center and then I travel multiple places, some 10 shots. I keep the distance and calculate in time mind and then calculate in click 10 shots in such a way. So so I want to show because the Khajuraho has some history, right? So it was hidden within the forest for some reason. Before the Mughal period and between the Mughal period to British period, it was hidden for some reason and all
Right.
because of these erotic sculptures and all. They hidden the so there is a huge tree or huge forest. They built a forest for this actually to get this hide and all. After that, in 2000, maybe 19 something, early 19 only, some Britishers found this place actually. So being know this history, I want to hide the temple within the forest kind of stuff. So that is a drama I want to create from that image. So there is a small trees they are planted in the temple complex itself. So what I did was I rotate that image in a vertical format. So this way I rotated this. So keep so the shot from this, then one by one each click 10 clicks in this. So it's give a rotation, and then that it was covered with a dense forest kind of feel of. So that's how it was made.
Beautiful. Very nice.
Uh, so this I cheated few things in this. I want to explain what is the what I cheated and all. So
Okay.
this is from Hampi. So
Huh.
that's a famous Hampi temple and
Right.
all.
Right.
So again, it's a May 1. So that day we was there and all. It's a peak summer. The summer and Hampi, it's unbearable, unimaginable one.
I
So
know.
so this pit is very small actually. There is a small pit. It's very small. It's small, something like some 6 inches kind of thing. What I did is I pour the water from the water bottle I carried. So that create a that's a very small pit, maybe a 2 hands kind of thing. This is this much the pit surface. So I go that close and I shot with the compose this frame and all. So I want a reflection shot. So it's unless until there is a because there is no place to get reflection. There is one small pond near to that, but that is a different frame, and everyone took that shot. Many shot that frame and all. So I use that small hole. So that small is something similar to this much. So that's small and all. I pour some water in from the bottle. So I borrowed some few from the French bottle also. Then filled that pit. Then I shot clicking and composed with that. So that's how because that's sky drama and everything. So actually I want this part of cloud also. That the right side part, that sunset part also. I wanted that, but that is the where maximum focal length I've been to this. So this is how it was shot.
Right. So, Ashok, you are a master of Photoshop, being a graphic designer. So, how much of post processing would you do to a picture like this?
It depends again. So it's again the picture demands what the picture demands.
Okay.
And when the time I started, because I was migrated as so I was a designer to photographer. So I know Photoshop before photography itself. So that is my initial. So initial days I do lot of whatever things I know. So I tried whatever things in my pictures and all. So whatever filters, blah 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 thing, and I do. Then one photographer from Bangalore, I still remember his name, Mahen. He's a professional commercial photographer. There are few that I'm in Flickr. There are few review threads going on. So I
Okay.
posted some pictures and then he reviewed the pictures and all. So that's how we learn photography and all. So what he's saying is there is a small line between the design and a photography. So we need to keep a line whether we are crossing that line of photography into design or we are keeping within that line of photography and all. So always you just keep that in mind. So that is the tip he gave in 2007, 8 time. So
Great.
still that is in my mind.
Mm. Mm.
So I want to showcase because the cloud and all, whatever the camera, whatever dynamic range, then what the naked eye sees, we can't get in our pictures and all.
That's right.
So we want to show the pictures like so we can say, okay, that day the sunset was beautiful, tremendous, wonderful. We can't say anything in words and all. But through pictures means it's easy to communicate. So I try to match that actually. So a few times I do dynamic range, I push the dynamic range to recover the shadow part or highlight part kind of thing. Because whenever we can't get the perfect balance of both in the same. So the shadow and highlight we never get in same. So we always expose for some to the average one. So then we need to bring the cloud part or the recover the shadow part and all. So that is the major thing I am doing now.
Okay, great. So, from doing too much to now you have minimalized, you are doing minimal processing to your pictures.
So wherever possible. So sometimes it goes. Sometimes I push. Then I after a few years I open the picture. Then I scold myself what the
Okay.
did to this picture and all. Then I reprocess. Then I put this in a version 1, version 2 kind of thing. Then I put in
Okay.
a year name and all. So I do all the things again and again on my images.
Okay. So, take for example this picture. So, what do you think you have done to this picture, and how much time would you take to process a picture like this?
So Previously, it took sometimes when I 2000 the early days and all, it took some 3 years to process it, 3 hours to process image. Sometimes I
Wow.
put that image, then I come back for next day, then I reprocess the image and all. Now
Wow.
it's maximum 5 minutes. So for a whatever picture, if it is a black and white means it's a 2 minutes. Color
Uh,
means it's because I need to come back to load it in Photoshop, then I need to process little bit of tweaking in that and all. So
right.
maximum 3 to 5 minutes is the processing time for any image at all.
Okay. So, would you do it in ACR or so what would you do in ACR? Say, apart from the exposure, contrast, brightness, saturation,
So
what?
whatever I do is I do some if it is a sky part means I always do some graduated filter and all.
Okay.
And now the after the DuPont technology of develop the brushes and then the circle radial filter that is a major advantage of in ACR now. So
Right.
I do few painted on the brushes and all, and then I do radial filter. So mostly that three is the major one.
Okay.
So basic exposure, then the color one, maybe the color shift, or few times we correct the colors and all. Even when I'm looking at this, I feel like okay that the rock is little saturated now.
Hmm.
So that's how we used to learn from our own pictures, whatever because we only know our mistakes and all.
Absolutely.
Many times we won't showcase our ego and all, but we know personally we know this. Okay, I did too much in this and all. If I process means I maybe I reduce the saturation of the rocks and then stones slightly under.
Right. Right. Great.
This from
Beautiful.
Hampi.
Right. Beautiful.
So that the tree and then that yellow leaf that
Beautiful.
wanted me to click this and all. So
Beautiful.
because this temple, this is the place where the chariot is there. The front,
That's right.
front that is the chariot over there.
True.
So that is the major part. Everyone is clicking. That is a Hampi means that is the because since it was in our Indian rupees and all, so that is a favorite place. The chariot is the only place I wanted to visit Hampi. I planned for maybe a decade actually. When the time I was in Bangalore, I missed that Hampi travel and all. And I recently been to last 4 years before I've been to here. That first we entered into the temple. We do all the things within that chariot, around the chariot, and whatever things and all. That day it was a that was a, only the plain sky. Well, the time we move, leaving the temple, there are few clouds, kind of a cotton clouds. We call it as a cotton cloud kind of thing. It start rising from here and there and all. So I shot another shot of the chariot with few clouds and all. That is another next part later part of the day. So that's green and blue combination that because that was a fresh green, so to fully lush, and then I want to get it from this and all. That the blue and green combination.
Okay. Right. So, Ashok, you have been a designer as a profession. So, how do you think your knowledge as a designer helps you being a better photographer?
Okay. So at the time, because I visit myself, I relook into myself what I did at all. So the time I started itself, I without knowing that rules and all, what is the composition, I know where to place my subject and all. Because we used to do in a design, we used to do okay, this is for text space, this is for image ratio. So we do all the ratios and all within it because we have an A4 page means we know the ratios and all, where to place, what to give the importance and all. So that is always in my mind. So placing the right subject at the right place, that is the first thing. So that we call it later we okay, then we study those. So that is the composition rule. So the rule of third and all. So then the negative space kind of thing. So we call so that we call it as a balance. We call it as a image ratio and the text ratio balance. We call it as. So I try to apply those things. So I doesn't know why the few picture is nice of what I took and all. Few picture it won't look nice. So then I start realizing that. Then I start learning the rules of composition, then theory of photography, few things and all. So but being a designer that actually helps me. Yeah. So again, the second part is color, looking at the colors and all. So how the color blend with how the background blend with the foreground, what color to keep that and all. I always looking for a perfect combination of the color contrast and all. So that helps me to compose the image. Other than the plus added is the color one. So composition is the first one. Then the color contrast that adds the drama to that image. So that is the best thing I get the knowledge from the design career now.
Right. So, great. So, guys, if you want to see the settings of any picture, you can see at the bottom. So it is being displayed. So yeah, you can just refer to that. And and if you have any questions, we'll once we finish the pictures, Ashok will be answering our questions. And yeah, so if you have any questions, or if you like a picture, please feel free to appreciate. So we'll always happy to see if, I mean, we all love appreciations, right? And the links of Ashok's coordinates are there on the his Instagram, his Facebook. Link is there in the description of the video, so you might like to follow him and get inspired from his work. And because we do a lot of these kind of videos, if you want to follow the channel, you can just subscribe. There's a red button which you can see. You can subscribe for the channel, so we'll get regular updates. So every weekend I'm doing at least 4 interviews with some very inspirational people. So all right, so let us get started. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, please tell us about this picture, Ashok.
The same place.
Right.
So the time we started with the chariot, we entered the temple. So this is the entrance. We entered into the temple and click whatever possible. So I tried even a multiple exposure of the chariot also, because so I found like, okay, this is the chance I want to do, try all the things I know. So I do multiple exposure of the chariot and blah blah, because it looked like in multiple exposure it feels like that it's moving kind of thing, because it's
Wow.
automatically feels like it's something is moving kind of thing. So it's more kinetic and that on. So then we'll be that okay, we almost called for the day. So we spent almost a half a day in this temple corridor, and then we time to left. So suddenly the clouds are popping in here and there and all. So that creates a drama.
Yeah, beautiful cotton clouds, as you say.
So that really brings a drama to this picture. Apart from this, else it's look a very, because in the summer, it's part of summer is mostly you can see then beautiful clouds. Sometimes it's a very plain and all, and most of the time Hampi it's very plain. I saw most of the images. It's the sky is very plain. I don't know what's the maybe the geographical reason and all. So it's maybe so that day it was very randomly it found. Almost we left the place and then I came back and then I recomposed a few images and all on this. So that's how actually the clouds made the drama on this.
Right. Beautiful.
Okay, this one from Rameshwaram.
Very nice. Very nice.
So this one from Rameshwaram, we called the place called, they do all the holy dippings and all, the Agni Tirtham they call it as. So they do the sea bath and then they take the multiple level of tirtha, they call it, and within the temple corridor there is a tirtha. So this is in a seashore only. So almost this kid is a newborn or few months old. So she doesn't want to drench in the water and all. So she do all the, so pull some water and then she spray it on the hair, on the kid's head, and then she wiped it and all. So the mother and kid, so that I want to capture. There is another picture. So this is happening, and then just behind them, there is an old man is after taking the bath, and then his wife is making cleaning his body and all kind of thing. It's happening then this rock and all. So there are two pictures in this from. This one is something that the toe that the foot of the kid placed, and then that creates a drama. After that, it wimbles the hair. The kid wibbles its legs and all. So that creates the drama. More light. More light.
Wow.
This from Puri beach. Evening time of Puri.
Beautiful.
So there's a regular Puri is known for its huge shore, and then so that is because in Chennai we don't get the huge long shores and all.
Right.
So there's a huge there is a sand range portion is huge, but the wet portion is very less in Chennai and all. So there is always a, but this is something because we can easily get to Goa and Puri, we can get the reflections and all. So this is something that late evening, it's look like a marble kind of a surface, and then this guy is moving towards the sea and all. So wherever possible, I try to avoid the overlapping subjects and all. So this again, I kept in a blind shot. I put it down the camera, and then I want to wait for a person to cross it exactly into the center, and then I click few images and all. So that's the place. Then the cloud, and then again the August monsoon. Everything sets the drama and all.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It's the same
So,
day
hmm,
we click we return from Chilika Lake. So
okay, okay,
so the same almost the climate and everything
right,
sets the drama.
great. So, how many shots did you take for this one perfect shot? And I cannot see any overlapping, absolutely no overlapping.
So almost
Perfect.
maybe 4 or 5 shots. Maybe he
Okay,
starts from this place to
okay,
cross this place and all.
great.
Because again, it's a blind shot, so we need to try something. Because then only, due to the blind shot, only I get the reflection of the perfect place of it.
Right, right.
Yes.
Wow. Amazing.
Shore temple.
Yeah,
This is very close to my home, my native. So that currently what I am here. So Mahabalipuram.
right,
It's a Pallava architecture, 600 AD temple. This one.
right,
So 640 AD, I guess, something some period. So almost this is not a worship place and all. So it's almost just close to the shore and all. So we've been to this place for past 10 years. Every almost whenever we get bored, we've been to this place and all. So that's how, because that's the only place close to Chennai and the monumental architecture close to Chennai, other than
right.
Kanchipuram.
Hmm.
So we tried all the compositions almost past 10 years, means we tried almost each and every corner. I have some frames of this place and all. Then I want to, then after multiple exposure, I want to try a shot of multiple exposure of the same place and all. So this is that. So how I took this is a kind of a, it's a kind of rectangle pathway. Then there is a end with a circle. So what I did was, so the behind this temple, there is a rectangle path. So what I did was I starts from this place, then I click one, then totally I cover the entire circle one by one. Then I could finish with this place. So I calculated the 10, maybe a 2 steps and then another click, or 5 steps, 5 feet, then another click. So I calculated such a way, and so that's how it. So what I do is I always keep the pivot point in the top, or any one such a point to keep that is a pivot point, because we can't see the, now I've been Z7, I can see the overlapping things and all, but in A10 and all there is no so we have to calculate in perfectly. We need to put our lines and done somewhere, or our focus point is at that point, then keep that point and then move the other shots and all. So that's how it.
So, how many shots did you take for this picture?
10 shots. 10 is the
10.
maximum available in digital now.
Okay, okay.
So the reason why I still stick with Nikon is, this is the another reason I want to still stick with Nikon. So because another cameras we don't have that.
So, Canon cameras does not have multiple exposures.
No, it's Mark 3. It has Mark 3
Okay,
and few 80D kind of thing. It has that,
okay, okay.
but not in Sony at all. We previously Sony have that, but now it doesn't have that.
So, Sony cameras don't have multiple
No,
exposure.
no, that it does.
Wow,
This from
very nice.
Pushkar 2013. So Pushkar portraits. That is a place for portraits actually.
Right,
So being a South Indian, so this type of faces itself is entirely different. So that is the good thing in India actually. So we travel some 500 kilometers into another state, the entire things will change. The climate
absolutely.
will change.
Right,
So the terrain will change. The people will change. Everything will change. So that creates the interestingness of being a traveler and all. So each 500 kilometers, there is a different culture, different climate, different colors. So that builds that. So this that's a it's from a Pushkar ground, Mela ground. I clicked this portrait. So we had some interaction. I shot some picture of him and then I showed to him. Then he he started laughing and all. So then again I recomposed a few images and all. So this is the second part of the composition. Because first he looked very serious and then he looked little. Then I showed him the image and all. Then he made fun about myself, and then we both doesn't know what he's doing and what I am saying and all. So that is another interesting conversation.
right,
So
right.
that's how it.
Oh, so that's one very nice tip that you do that you gave, that to show the pictures on the screen. I think that really helps. So even
Yeah,
I do that a lot, and it kind of helps in breaking the ice,
yeah.
makes
That
them more comfortable. Yeah,
most of them the people
yeah.
trust us actually. So we
Right,
didn't do
right.
anything. So okay,
Yeah,
we
right,
just captured them and all. So most of them they'll ask why we are doing and all.
right.
In many places, it depends on the place. We'll do okay. I'm studying or I'm learning photography or doing something. So wherever possible, we'll do have to explain them in a nicer way.
Right. Wow, beautiful composition.
This from Khajuraho. So
Yeah.
the same again. The entire, so this is a huge compound. So we spent some 8 hours within that compound itself. So almost we tried all the compositions and try, because it's a Khajuraho means we need to try sculptures. So we have to cover the Vimana, we had to cover everything we need to take, because that's a huge opportunity for this.
Right.
And everything is done. It's almost mid noon and all. The sun is almost above that time, so I want to try a different one. So then I place the sun in behind the flower, and then that creates a translucency of the within the petals and all. Then I compose this, the temple in the background and the flower in the foreground, kind of thing. So that's how, again, the purple and then blue combination that makes the drama to this and all.
Right. Beautiful.
Again from Khajuraho only. This.
Okay.
So Khajuraho is a kind of a village there is a beautiful village is in and around Khajuraho.
Right.
Wherever so that is a beautiful opportunities, and that people are so fresh. So I don't know why at all. They are very friendly also. Maybe when compared to South Indians, North people are more friendly actually in such of photography terms and all, because they used to, maybe because they travel, there are a huge, they used to visit, there are many huge visitors and all there, everywhere they are visiting places and all, and few foreigners also visitor, right? In South, that is very less actually when compared to North and all. To Rajasthan or these places and all, they're very friendly. So what we do is, the same techniques only. So I asked her to smile. So we said hasso, hasso. So that is some few states that is a different language, right? So the same
Right.
hasso, hassi. So that is, so we said something means they'll. So that is how there is some weird action of her also. So she made too comfortable. Then she gave some weird actions of smile at all. So I picked some beautiful thing from this and all.
Okay. Great. Oh, beautiful.
This from Calcutta. This near that Kumartuli Ghat.
Kumartuli, yeah. Very nice.
So this is there is a ghat near the Kumartuli, right? So that past that there's a small. So we waited for a train to come. So both the actions I want to cover both the actions and all. Here that they are busy with the Ganesha thing, idols, and then it was August. So they're preparing for so it's a yearly preparation for the idols and all. So for the Durga Puja preparations and all. So I want to get both a static and then dynamic thing in both in the same frame and all. So I pray for, so I was little, because I want to go little down for with the shutter speed and all. So I don't to get overexposed and all. So it was shot in 1/20 in a bright daylight and all. So that is so I want to, so I pray for that, because that is the good thing in mirrorless now is, so that IBS control is much better, stronger than the.
Right.
So few advantage in over migrating to that and all. So the inbuilt IBS thing is much better. So 1/20, and then even this is action shot and all. They are working on something, but still I got a sharp shot on that for that portion and all. And then motion shot of this. Okay. Try to cover both in this.
Excellent.
Again, light is the magic of this. So
beautiful.
early morning, sunrise, and then the cabs are running the same yellow. So everything falls in the same place. August monsoon. So and then the interesting thing is there is the guy is taking bath. It's early morning bath in this place and all. So this is the place we stayed. The next to this places we stayed and all. So we just down. So we want to start the day from the morning. So we want to go to the Howrah Bridge. So this is the passage we need to cross that. So that way, so everything in yellow, and then the contrast build everything. That rainy clouds, sorry, the rainy roads and everything, wet, drenched road and everything, set the mood of this picture.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful contrast and colors, absolutely.
This from the flower market, Calcutta.
Yeah.
The same. So, so this is almost a fraction of second eye contact between both of us. So after that, she turned around and she said, "No." Okay, then I moved on and all. But then even next day, I went there and then I show the picture to her. So I shot a similar picture of this.
Okay. Okay.
And the interesting thing about this place is I shot some in my 2011 travel. I found a woman. I found an old woman. I shot the picture of her. Then again, the last year also after 10 years, I visited the 9 years. I visited the same place. I found the same woman. I showed the previous images also. Then we made some small conversation. Then I shot another image of her. So few when they visit a place again and again means we found many interesting images of the same place of the same person we meet tend to meet the same person and all. That is the interesting one. So here the colors and then that the background, the texture, everything wanted to click. Press the
Right.
shutter.
Beautiful. Very nice.
And this from
Wow. This is
I
amazing.
was working on this shot for another some close to 30 to 40 images and all. So I want that blur. So the butterflies are there's a close to the seashore of Manapadu. There is a place called Manapadu. That's close to southern tip of close to Kanyakumari. Let's say it's everyone knows Kanyakumari, so it's somewhere close to some 100 kilometers close to Kanyakumari. So that place.
Okay.
That is one of the next to Varanasi. This is my favorite place to go. So that is a huge sand. One portion of its sky sea is so it's a kind of a tip of a uh, sand dune. So another part is the sea is very harsh and then rough, and then the another portion is very small, soft. So that is the we can see both the seas in the same place and all, calm and then some rough and all. There is on there's a in the tip there is on almost a 400 500 years old church is there. So some Dutch visitor came to that place, and then some Dutch sailor they came to that place. They have some. So that is a story behind this also. So that is the church. This is from the church corridor only. So the
Okay.
angel is starting that. So I was waiting. I shot some picture from the down angle. Then I saw okay, the butterflies are keep roaming around this again and again. So I work around this picture for another 4 5 compositions, and it almost took some 30 40 images to get that perfect image of everything in the perfect line and all.
Beautiful.
So this is the
Beautiful.
one.
What is the name of the place you said, Ashok?
Manapad, Manapad.
Okay.
This from Kolhapur.
Wow. Okay.
So Kolhapur, Kusti area.
Kusti, yeah. Beautiful.
So we've been to the Rakada very late only.
Hmm.
So last November, we visited this place.
Okay.
So through Dhyaneshwar Dada only we know this place and all. So
Right.
he's from Kolhapur, native Kolhapur.
Yes.
So there is a huge Kappa photographers groups are there.
Hmm.
So we plan to be there by 3:30. So that is the time they will start the practice and all daily. So but we due to the traffic and we started from Pune and we drive back to Kolhapur. So we almost we stuck in a few places and then the traffic and then we reached there by almost close to 6. So now that time they almost finished the practice and then everyone is taking bath and all. So that is the scenario we went there, and we tried to capture few images and all because I want to again we will need to visit to perfect practice and all. I need to go there back again.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yes.
Wow.
This from Halibedu. That's that tower opposite to Halibedu entrance.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So there is a huge. So some maybe the political rally or whatever happened. So still that it was post rally kind of thing. It's happening over there. So I tried to almost I crossed the road. So almost I covered the entire circle in a circular 10 shots, and I composed the multiple exposure in this.
Okay. This is again 10 shots.
10 shots.
Okay, 10 multiple exposure. So some people were asking, okay, how did you do that? So these are all multiple exposure. Ashok is a master of multiple exposure. So in your camera, there is a feature called multiple exposures. You can take the same picture and overlap it on the second picture. So some elements I think should be exactly the way it is. Otherwise, it will probably not look that great. So the alignment is something very important.
So alignment is the main thing. Alignment is a major challenge in this actually.
Right.
So that we
Right.
need to learn by ourselves only. Even the problem with the multiple exposure is, so everything happening within the camera. So we
Right.
can't demonstrate someone unless until they are close to next to us. We can
Right.
show the each where how we are composing the images and all, and we can show
Right.
the final render within that camera itself, viewfinder itself.
Oh,
So many thinking is many thought it's okay. We do everything in Photoshop and all, but there is an option in my camera, so I want to explore that. So that's it.
right.
So major thing is the setup, and then the alignment is the major thing. So here I put the pivot point of the center one.
Right.
So that is the point. So I want to keep. Then the major thing is the distance between the subject and ourselves. That also we need to keep almost similar to each common for each distance. So it's
Right.
more like drawing a line from each corner. So that way we have to go. So that's how we need to compose this.
Right. Otherwise, the depth will.
That depth will vary, and then that monument will scaling will vary. So
Right.
those things will change.
Great.
Yeah, the same experiment within the tree. So I go around the tree. So what the interesting thing with the tree is it's look like a painting dabs kind of thing, more like a painted stroke, brush stroke kind of thing.
Right.
So all the
Right.
leaves, the merge of the leaves over and over above. So it looks
Right.
like a painted stroke, painted dabs kind of thing. So last year itself, I started exploring this and all. So wherever possible, a single tree, I do all the surrounding circular things within the tree and all. So
Very
it's a recent experiment from the tree because I almost cover few temples of the South India.
Right.
I want to extend it. So a few temple towers, then electric poles.
Mm.
So wherever possible, we can go around. I can do this experiment now.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, this one from the East Coast Road only, Chennai.
Mm.
So it's almost at 12 o'clock noon. I shot this. That's a small flower. It's a very small flower, maybe a
Oh.
4-inch kind of thing. So it's again a blind shot. I place the camera until almost put it in the ground, and then I tilt it little above, and I compose this, and I process in such a way so everything in blue. Keep the blue in dark. So because of f22, almost the shot itself is a dark. So that flower is a pink one. So that builds the contrast. So everything is blue. The flower is pink. So that is easy to extract the colors in black and white. So we make the blue totally dark. So it's look like a night shot of a same
Right.
flower kind of thing.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I have similar shot in the color also that I place in a blue and then pink combination.
Very nice. So, Ashok, what are your future plans once the COVID is over? What is that one place that you want to go and shoot?
So there is a huge list because this year almost we missed two of the travels because in February we planned one. So sorry, March we planned one. Then this year Vari I planned. Actually, first time I want to visit Vari also. Vari
Oh, Vari, you must go there. It is
uh,
wonderful, wonderful.
so
And Dhaneshwar he knows everything.
he was inviting us for for past 3 years and all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I planned for that. So that is skipped on. So the summer I planned Varanasi also. That also skipped.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't know when it will get over and what is the comfortable to time and place to visit and all.
Right.
So maybe I don't know whether it's this year it's highly possible and all.
Mm.
Maybe few local trips within Tamil Nadu because it's Kerala almost they locked the state itself for next few months and all.
Right.
So Kerala is the closest place for us. Maybe in a night drive we'll reach the Kerala.
Yes,
Then we
yes.
start
Yeah.
exploring. Then Monday. So we don't want to apply leave for offices and all.
Right, right.
So still I'm working in office, so I don't want to plan the holidays.
Mm.
So plan the leaves and all. So we need to plan that.
Yeah. So the best thing about being in Chennai is I mean, when I was working there in 2005, so every evening, Friday evening, I would take a train and go to some corner of Tamil Nadu or
Yes.
Kerala, and then come back to Monday.
Monday morning. That is
uh,
easily possible over here.
yes, yes. Very, very easy. Wow.
The
Beautiful.
same short temple. This is another day, another monsoon day.
Okay.
So I just put a reflection shot of, then I inverted into a mirror image kind of thing.
Right.
So I want this girl to enter in a perfectly, and so entered into the Vimana kind of, so similar to the previous one. So that
Right.
Beluru shot. So this girl, little one, want to perfectly enter to the shot, into the tower and all. So I frame such a way this one.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it was wonderful to see your images, Ashok. It was really a visual delight, I can say.
Thanks.
So now we'll quickly go through a few questions that our viewers had, and then okay. So I'm just going to go through
Sure, sure, sure.
the questions. Okay. So yeah. So Dilip sir is asking what camera do you use? So Ashok right now uses a Z7, right, Ashok?
Yeah, Nikon Z7.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So all right.
We almost past 1 hour. It's over. 1 hour
Yeah,
left.
yeah. So you see, I didn't realize we spent so much of time, and it was really wonderful. Okay. So Yogesh is asking, sir, which lens are you using?
So when I was in using D810, Tokina 1735 is my major horse. So
Okay.
90% of 810 shots are shot from that one only. And for
Okay.
portraits, I use 85 mm 1.8.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
into mirrorless, I sold all the SLR things now into mirrorless. I recently bought a wide angle. So
Okay.
the Calcutta images are all shot from 2470 f4.
Okay.
Z 2470. Now
Mhm.
recently I bought a 1430. So I want
Okay.
so that
So you,
last that flower shot with the sun stars and all
uh-huh.
that all from 1430 only.
Oh, okay. Okay. You got that lens. I want to
Yeah.
buy that. I want to buy that. So how are you feeling with that lens? You love
So
it?
to me, it's I don't want to spend much on 2.8 lenses and all. So I always
Uh-huh.
prefer a f4 is enough for me. But what
Okay.
Danashar is saying, it's he always wanted something in a 2.8 kind of thing.
Mhm.
So okay, for me it's okay.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. So okay. So Vivek sir is asking. Okay, is it photo stacking in Photoshop? So it is not photo stacking, as Ashok was telling. So it is all multiple exposure. So he takes 10 exposure. So his current camera, which is Z7, and even before that 810, so was allowing 10 exposure. So he would take 10 different pictures, and that would get stacked into one picture. Nothing done in Photoshop. It's all in the camera, right, Ashok?
Yes, yes, the same.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So Dr. Nitin is asking, do you use any lens filters?
No, previously at the time I started, I used to buy all the filters and all. So I had one ND. That too only I almost I 2015 I used. After that I didn't use much also. During my Andaman trip I used that filter.
Okay.
After that because now we need to each lens we need to buy a different filters, or I went to put a holder for that. If I want to
Right.
invest few things on holders and all. So I'm not a full time. If I am a full time landscape photographer means I have to buy a filter kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm most of the time I use my in camera. I release the ISO to the 64 or 32 kind of thing low, put it in low, and then I tried the long exposure things.
Okay. So, all right. So, Rahul is saying that please plan further sessions in English. Most of your sessions is in Tamil.
So one we did before Talam was in Tamil. That was planned for that actually.
Uh,
After that, one or two, it depends actually. It
right.
depends on the geography, who we are talking and all.
Right.
For
Right.
sure, I will do this whenever
Okay.
possible.
Right. So, Monica is asking, can you recommend a book on basic design?
Okay, design. Okay, design is again it's a way of living actually. So what I say is, I don't know how I was into that career and all, but when I was a kid, I used to draw pictures and all. So during my, I totally because in '94 only few computer science only. I studied BSc computer science, bachelor degree in computer science only. So that time I doesn't know that I saw my computer the first day in my computer lab in '94 only. So that time I was not comfortable with the programming languages and all. So I was looking for something. Then I found one of my friend, he's doing all the designing works in computer and all. Then I start, okay, that's try to make that as a career and all. So these days it's very easy. We don't want to go for a book and all. Dribble is the basic thing. Dribble or Behance, that is a huge collection. But few philosophy we need to found. We need to understand the philosophy. then we can go through, because then modern designs and all what doing is they almost work for the current technology or current requirement and all. But few philosophy, design philosophy, we need to go through that. Maybe if you that it's a huge list actually. So maybe watching other few industry designers interviews kind of thing. So when now it's a YouTube is there, it's a huge list and all. Through that, it's easy.
Okay, so
And
great.
I never studied design as a career. So again, that itself is an accidental thing. So I didn't follow
Okay.
any formal method of education through that or for design also.
Okay, okay. We have a lot of comments, but a lot of appreciations for you, a lot of regards for you, but you can read them maybe later.
Sure, sure.
So I'll just read one. Chetan sir is saying, cannot forget the time that we spent together.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So great. So it was lovely talking to you, Ashok. I really appreciate you taking time for us and doing this session. And I absolutely loved going through your pictures and you talking, giving detailed explanation about your picture. And especially, I always wanted to learn how you do those multiple exposures. They were
Sure.
always the yeah, wonder for me. But yeah, I have little
Plan
bit
a
of
visit to Chennai. We will do
I,
something.
absolutely, absolutely. I would love to be back again. Chennai is very close to my heart because I met my wife there. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
very, very, so it's very close to my heart. And yeah, I would definitely be back and probably we'll shoot together
Great,
sometime.
great, great.
Okay. So thank you again. So yeah, if
Thank
you
you,
would
Saurabh. You are doing
say,
a fantastic job because this is a major repository kind of thing. So because we can't shoot, so at least we can do the learning process kind of thing through watching other videos and all, watching other interviews, and that is a huge actually. Because whenever used to watch pictures, everyone's pictures, but we never go through beyond that actually.
right.
We thought, okay, this is shot from something from this and all, but someone's own perspective is entirely different one, breaking the ice kind of thing. So it's a fantastic opportunity for myself also. Thanks,
Great.
Saurabh.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you once again. And
Thank you.
we'll meet soon, Ashok. Thank you once
Sure,
again.
sure. See
Bye.
you.